Question 9. 2, 1.88, 1.76, 1.64, and 1.52. 9a. What is the term-to-term rule of this sequence? 9b. What is the next term in this sequence? Looking at this question, the topic is well spelled out, which is sequence. And we have to get the term-to-term rule. To get the term-to-term rule, we have to study the sequence first. You see, this is 2. It has dropped to 1.88. 2 is greater than 1.88. And from 1.88, it dropped to 1.76. And it's going down. So how do we get the term-to-term rule of the sequence? Since it's dropping, we can just say the first term minus the second term. Let's say, for example, you have 7, 5, 3, 1, and so on. And you want to find the term-to-term rule. You can take 7 minus 5, you get 2. The result, which is 2, that means you're subtracting 2 from each of the term to get the next term after it. So 7 minus 2 will give you 5. 5 minus 2 will give you 3. 3 minus 2 will give you 1. You have to first subtract the first term by the second term to get the difference. Then you're subtracting. Same applies to this. You have 2 dropping to 1.88. That means to get the term-to-term rule, you will just do 2 minus 1.88. So you have 2 and you have 1.88 below. You subtract. You can make this 2.00. This is not just a sequence question only. It's a question that tests if you're still good at subtracting and or adding decimals. So we have 2.00 minus 1.88. So 2 is a whole number. So we leave it in front, decimal behind, and you have 00. This is a test of your knowledge of subtracting decimals in this case. We start from behind. 0 minus 8. 0 is smaller than 8 or less than 8, so we can't use 0. We have to borrow from these 2. So we borrow from these 2. This becomes 1. This is now 10. We borrow from this 10, we'll be left with 9. This will now be 10. 10 minus 8 will give you 2. 9 minus 8 will give you 1. Then you have your decimal. 1 minus 1 will give you 0. So that means for you to get 2 to 1.88, you have to subtract 2 by 0.12. Now for this 2 to drop to 1.88, we need to subtract 2 by 0.12. But you can't stop here. You might have to confirm if it works for 1.88 dropping to 1.76. So we subtract 1.88 by 0.12. We have 1.88, then 0.12 you subtract. 8 minus 2 will give you 6. 8 minus 1 will give you 7. Dot. 1 minus 0 will give you 1. So we see that this works. So the term-to-term rule of this sequence is subtract by 0.12. Question B, what is the next term of the sequence? They are asking after this term, which term is next? To get the next term, you take this term and subtract 0.12 from it. So we have 1.52 minus 0.12. 2 minus 2 will give you 0. 1 minus 5 will give you 4. Dot. 1 minus 0 will give you 1. So the next term of this sequence is 1.40 in 2 decimal places.